The announcement of a unicorn coming public is widely awaited in today's valuation-crazed business world. What happens though if such a declaration gains notoriety at all? WeWork, the industry's poster child for co-working, experienced precisely this. In less than a year, its worth dropped by more than $40 billion, from $50 billion to $8 billion. Though it was an implosion unlike any other, it wasn't entirely unexpected. Today, we will take a look at the mind-boggling freefall of the $47 billion unicorn. Let's dive right in. Israeli entrepreneur Adam Neumann and his American partner Miguel McKelvey created WeWork in 2010. The idea was sparked by the large number of vacant offices that followed the 2008 credit crisis, and the rise in independent contractors and startup owners that the crisis brought about. It was a fresh and pleasant concept to be able to rent a desk for however long or short a period you required while mingling with other independent contractors or startup entrepreneurs. The company developed WeWork Labs by the following year, intended exclusively for these startup companies. It provided them with office space and meeting spaces and the assurance of support during their early stages of development. They claimed that the labs would support and create new businesses. Up until August 14th of last year, WeWork was doing well. The brand was prepared to go public, with revenue increasing by more than 100% annually and rapid expansion throughout the US and the rest of the world. However, there were underlying problems like a significant cash burn, a dubious corporate governance structure, and an exorbitant value solely based on SoftBank funding instead of actual market perception. The outcome? WeWork's IPO had to be postponed indefinitely due to a sharp decline in valuation, which also led to the maverick CEO Adam Neumann's ultimate resignation and the possibility of layoffs. The hype was most likely a factor in WeWork's collapse. Investor behaviour was impacted because a commercial real estate corporation effectively insisted on portraying itself as a tech company. Similar to Facebook or Google, it made grand declarations about wanting to transform the world and referred to its offices as physical social networks rather than just offices. Essentially, they pretended to be a cultural revolution while giving desk space a reasonably standard service. Early indications of this exist. WeWork was managed by Neumann in accordance with how he positioned WeWork as a movement. The We Corporation had a mandated work hard, party hard culture, where after-work drinking was vital for staff. The company also had mass away days, practically festivals when drugs and alcohol were supposedly aggressively promoted. Then, Neumann purchased the rights to the phrase "we" and plastered it everywhere, including clothing, gyms, co-living areas, and even schools. If you bought into it all, the concept was that you could almost live out every element of your life in a "we" area. Many people started to worry that WeWork, previously a co-working environment, quickly resembled a cult. Several difficulties were present in this situation. WeWork's attempt to position itself as a tech company while its core business was entirely real estate was the leading cause. Since it's a real estate company, which could not often attain such enormous valuation figures, technology can only enable a specific fraction of the play. Let's take a closer look at Regus IWG, one of the market's pioneers, to better understand it. They have been valued at roughly 3 times their annual sales. Unless it's a very high growth business, any company that provides real estate or commercial services would be similarly valued. Investors in the sector developed a wrong impression of the offering since it was packaged as a tech player. A multi-class stock structure that gave Neumann 20 votes for every vote that ordinary shareholders had was added to this. Under investor criticism, the ratio was decreased to 10-1, which is still a very high number during the company's S1 filing. Furthermore, it was discovered that Neumann was privately purchasing real estate and leasing it to WeWork, thereby borrowing money from the business at little interest while also collecting rent. Everything started to fall apart in 2019, when the business started an IPO that would have turned them into a public company. WeWork had a pre-IPO valuation of $47 billion. However, after careful examination of its financials, it was found that its actual value was only $10 billion. It was revealed that the business lost $2 billion alone in 2018. It has gone from extreme heights to the verge of bankruptcy in just 6 weeks. After many lawsuits against the company that year, most of which focused on racial and gender discrimination and sexual harassment, the WeWork fairy tales started to fall apart. What did they do then? Neumann began by offloading his very contentious private plane. The company then let go of 20 similarly critical members of the founder's family and friends, including Newman's wife Rebecca, who worked for WeWork. The job losses followed. 20% of the company's employment was reduced by November 2019. By year's end, SoftBank, WeWork's principal investor, had taken over, and Newman had been fired as CEO. Even if WeWork is still around today, it was already hobbling before the pandemic. WeWork lost an additional $2 billion in addition to 70% of their membership by May 2021, according to reports. Many sites have closed and hundreds of jobs have been destroyed. It won't be long before WeWork's new board reorganises and restarts with an accurate assessment and, more significantly, a correct mindset. The scenario does, however, highlight a more significant problematic pattern. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. Subscribe to the channel as a sacrifice to the gods of the algorithm. Thanks for watching.